Okay. Share screen. Share screen.
Like on this side. No, on this side.
Let's do the history of presidents.
Like I'm gonna have blow mold over here, blow mold over here, and tops of this.
Not only so I can take my dinner with you guys, but this time I don't have to worry about
Okay,
leaving
now let's start
anymore.
adding
put your hands
other pieces. Slowly transform each side.
We're kids.
Your hands on me, man.
You gotta hold on. DBA.
What are you guys thinking so far?
Wayfair's President's Day clearance is on. Right now through February 16th, get Wayfair's best deals since Black...
K-Smart! President's Day for kids.
For kids. For kids.
Hi K-Smart kids, welcome back to our channel. Today we will be learning about President's Day. President's Day is celebrated on the third Monday in February. President's Day is celebrated in the United States of America. Before, President's Day was to honor George Washington's birthday and also Abraham Lincoln's birthday. But now, President's Day, we honor all American presidents. What is the President of the United States? The President of the United States is a leader who makes big decisions to take care of the country and the people. Let's learn some fun facts about the U.S. presidents. Many presidents had unusual careers before becoming president. Jimmy Carter, the 39th president, was a peanut farmer. Ronald Reagan, the 40th president, was a famous movie star. Andrew Johnson, the 17th president, was a tailor. There were also many firsts for presidents. Theodore Roosevelt, the 26th president, was the first president to ride in a car. Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd president, was the first president to ride in an airplane. Dwight D. Eisenhower, the 34th president, was the first president to ride in a helicopter. Ulysses S. Grant, the 18th president, was given a $20 speeding ticket for riding his horse and buggy too fast down a street in Washington, D.C. Theodore Roosevelt, the 26th president, officially named the White House the White House. Before, it was called the President's Palace or the President's House. Andrew Johnson, the 17th president, cared for a family of White House mice, which he called the Little Fellows. Abraham Lincoln, the 16th president, was 6 feet and 4 inches tall, making him the tallest U.S. president. James Madison, the 4th president, was the shortest president and was 5 foot 4 inches. Bill Clinton, the 42nd president, enjoyed playing the saxophone and was a member of a band called Three Blind Mice in high school. How can you celebrate President's Day? You can make cherry-flavored desserts in honor of George Washington. You can make a teddy bear in honor of Teddy Roosevelt. Teddy bears were created in 1902 in honor of President Teddy Roosevelt because he wanted to save a bear. You can also talk about if you were president. What would you do? Thanks for learning about President's Day with us, K-Smart kids. See you next time. Happy President's Day from K-Smart.
Thanks for watching, K-Smart kids. Please like our video and subscribe to see more. Click here.
Unfortunately, whenever I like this private sign up and then I go to record a video, he's just so blown out. He's quite like faded, like white instead of just a green or the purple that he's supposed to be on the ground with like that. So like frame, but no. I'm gonna have a landline phone. This piece I purchased a couple years ago. I love the one side. Last year's violin vintage $5 free time. It's not bad.
Hello, awesome readers! Today we're going to be reading President's Day by Anne Rockwell. President's Day is when we celebrate the birthdays of George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. They were both born in February many years ago. They were both very great presidents of our country, the United States of America. Grown-ups vote every 4 years to choose the President of the United States. Each person votes for the person he or she believes will make the best leader. They don't all agree, so whoever gets the most votes becomes president. We decided to put on a President's Day Assembly program, telling the rest of our school some things we learned about some of our presidents. We worked hard getting ready, painting and cutting, stirring and cooking flour paste, and tearing strips of newspaper for paper mache. Sam, Evan, Sarah, and Machiko wore the mountain of paper mache we made. Hello, everybody. We are Mount Rushmore, they said all together. The faces of Presidents George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln are carved 60 feet high on our hard granite cliff. Now each of these presidents will tell you about himself. I was George Washington. That's because my birthday is the same as his. I was born on February 22nd, 6 years ago, but George Washington was born more than 200 years ago. Good morning, I said in a deep voice. I led the American people when they fought to be free from the King of England. We won, so I was elected the first president of a brand new country called the United States of America. Abraham Lincoln was very, very tall, and Charlie is the tallest kid in our class. I am the 16th President of the United States, he said. I kept the United States together when it split in two. I said, a house divided against itself cannot stand, and I meant it. We fought a long war to keep our nation together. That's why it's called the United States of America. United means many stick together like one. Nicholas is a good writer who can always think of just the right word. When he came on stage wearing a red wig with a short pigtail in back, he just sat at a desk writing with a pen made of a feather. Everyone waited patiently while he scowled and scratched his head, crumpled pieces of paper, and tossed them into the wastebasket. Finally, he cried out, "At last, it's done!" He stood up, bowed to the audience, and said, "Good morning. My name is Thomas Jefferson, 3rd President of the United States. I wrote something called the Declaration of Independence that told why we wanted to be free from England.
Hi, best friend.
It's pretty good if I do say so myself." He started to read what he wrote, but suddenly,
I celebrate Valentine's Day.
Jessica came galloping out on a hobby horse. "Good morning," she shouted. "My name is Theodore Roosevelt, but you can call me Teddy. I'm the 26th
Some,
president
like,
of the
taste
United
test
States.
videos.
When I was a kid, I was sick a lot
Yeah.
and couldn't go out to play. But when I grew up, I was healthy and strong and loved the
Yep.
outdoors. I wanted a lot of this big, beautiful land to always be wild.
Yeah.
That's why we set aside more land to be
See you Tuesday,
national
buddy.
parks where plants and
Bye.
animals could always be wild. Pablo and Evelyn came out on stage carrying the long mural we had painted of giant redwood trees, the Grand Canyon, Old Faithful spouting, and animals in the Everglades. The rest of us joined them. Mount Rushmore, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, and Teddy Roosevelt on his horse. We bowed while everyone in the audience clapped for a long time. Back in the classroom, we had an election. Everyone wrote the name of someone who'd make a good leader on a piece of paper. I wrote Pablo's name because he's smart and never mean. We put each piece of paper in a box. Mrs. Madoff counted the votes. The person whose name appeared most often would win the election. Guess what? I won! Just like George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, Teddy Roosevelt, and today's President of the United States. Now, I'm the president of Mrs. Madoff's class. When I grow up, I want to be the first woman president of the United States of America. Wouldn't that be great? After all, I have the same birthday as George Washington. The end. Thank you so much for reading with me. If you enjoyed, please don't forget to like and subscribe so that we can read together again.
When you list on apartments.com, renters will start coming out of the woodwork.
Yes, sir. I thought the orders came down the valid chain of command.
Blind loyalty.
I know that, sir. That's why I'm here.
You show a lot of snacks, you know. A lot of guts for you.
Well, thank you, sir. That means we're coming.
Unfortunately, there's
George Washington was born on his dad's Virginia plantation in 1732. He got famous for fighting the British during the French and Indian War, and then he got mega rich by marrying Martha Custis, a very wealthy landowner. To this day, George had the most Benjamins of any president, as well as the most slaves. He led the Continental Army during the Revolutionary War, which made him a national hero, and then he led the Constitutional Convention in 1787, upgrading his status to legendary. So when the country needed a respectable first president in 1789, George was the obvious choice. As our first president, he established a lot of precedents. He created the federal court system, the first cabinet, he helped usher in the Bill of Rights, and he chose the title Mr. President. And he always looked serious because his dentures gave him a perpetual frowny face. Most importantly, he retired in 1797, showing our future leaders that presidents weren't kings. Sadly, George died on his Virginia plantation only 2 years after retiring. He didn't leave behind any children, but he did leave behind a functioning democracy with 241 towns, 26 cities, 5 mountains, and a state named after him.
Hi friends, today we're going to learn about President's Day, a special holiday to honor the leaders of our country.
Alright, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more retro content. Thank you, bye.